Hello everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Conahey Rail Studios. So I've had a request to make a layout tour, which I've actually already done in 2019, but never realized how far advanced I've gotten since then, and as far as updates. So I will put a link to the 2019 video in the comments down below. And also, for those who are interested, I do have a separate Conahey Rail playlist on the Dakman Productions YouTube channel. It's dedicated to all the Conahey Rail videos that I created since 2015. And so there's about 85 videos on there now, just based on Conahey Rail as a shooting of this video. So we're going to go forward with updates. This is pretty much going to be an update video. I will touch on a couple questions that I've already answered in a 2019 video. So I'm only going to answer like 2 or 3 of them. So it's not a repetitious video. So, people were asking, what does Conahey Rail stand for? Basically, it's just my last name, Conahey Rail. I've always been interested in Conrail trains, and I haven't told that story in my first video, so I guess it's a good opportunity to explain why Conrail has a big significance to me, and it's because Conrail used to run in my town when I was a kid, and I would always ride my bike to the one store. And this is a true story. I know it's going to sound the same, but it's really true. So there was this one mainline track that this Conrail train would actually stop at, and I don't know if there was an approach signal there or not. I can't remember. And the engineer would actually get out, and there was a store across the street where he would run into the store and then come back, and he bought stuff for, you know, lunch or whatever have you, and then he would move on. So I would always ride my bike down to see this train every day. I would ride my bike during the summertime to see this train, and it was the same engineer who always ran it. And one day, you know, I guess, sorry about that, he gets to see me, you know, or know me. He sees me all the time, and then finally, you know, I think this is going on for like maybe a month and a half, and then he comes up to me on my bike and says, "Hey, would you like to go for a ride?" I'm like, "Really?" He says, "Where are we going?" You know. And he says, "I'll take you a mile down the track." I said, "Okay, that sounds fair." So he actually had the, I don't know if it was a brakeman or conductor or whoever it was, but there was other crew members there. One of them grabbed the bike, brought it onto the train. I got on the train, and we rode a mile down the track in this Conrail locomotive. And I don't remember what model it was, because I was just a kid then. But I thought that was the best thing in the whole world, and I know today that would never happen, but due to safety regulations and stuff like that. But it was just the best experience ever. So that's the story of why I ended up picking Conrail, and of course Conrail left my town, and then a lot of trackage here was abandoned, and then a short line actually bought all the tracks, called Winchester and Western. They're based here in South Jersey. They also got a place in West Virginia, I believe. So there's actually two locations. Winchester and Western was actually recently, as of 2019, was bought out by Omnitrax. So that brings us up to date on that part of it. And the next question is what does I refer to this layout as a high rail layout. I still get questions. What does high rail mean? High rail means that everything on the layout is to a true 148 scale, as much as possible. There's no semi-scale. I don't mix any semi-scale in this. Being high rail means you run locomotives to the proper era of the freight cars. In other words, you're not going to run a woodside reefer onto a 70 or an SD70 ACE unit, because that never really happened. So I try to run as realistically as possible to the proper time periods and so forth and so on. So that's what high rail means. But if that makes me sound like a rivet counter, then stay tuned, because I got something else to show you in the video. Anyway, so let's go through some of the updates here. And one of the things I really got into was creating Hollywood scene or Hollywood car scenes on my layout. That was pretty much a decision I made after the last update or tour in 2019, which you guys didn't see, but I noticed that visitors here had a hard time recognizing the cars, so now I put cards on there that tells you about the vehicle and the scene that I'm trying to create, or the vehicle, what the vehicle is used for. So in this case, here's a Jeep, and reading the card, Hollywood Show Series, Dukes of Hazzard, Daisy Duke, Jeep, Dixie, and the show was on from 79 to 85. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to highlight, was all the Hollywood cars that I had on here. And for those of you who were asking for aerial views and overall shots, stay tuned, because I will do those further in the movie. I went ahead and decided to add a station, passenger station, because I do invite guests over, and a couple of them have brought passenger trains, so I went ahead and bought the station. This is an MT8 station, and I detailed it with the people. So it doesn't come with everything that you see here, of course, but that phone booth, I bought that in a little kit there. And then that Coke machine, that's a K-line piece that actually lights up. And then I've added the people and the benches. So another update that I'm working on is this intersection with the 4 crossing lights. I still haven't finished it. I still got to wire it up, put the bell in, and the activator. And I want it to be prototypical, so when the train comes on either track, all 4 lights will flash and light up at the same time. So this still has to be finished, but I'm almost there. Now, the one thing I found out, and I'll pan up top here, is everything goes through here except for the auto rack cars. I have a clearance problem with the auto rack cars. So how I solved that is I only have one screw, and I took the other screw out. So I left it open to show you guys. But so now I can actually move. I probably should have turned off my notification sounds, huh? But anyway, I can actually move this out of the way now. by only having one screw in there. So that was the only way I could think of, because I can't move the tracks to get away with the clearance issues. So I just have to remember to move it back when I run the inside main. But the only time I have to move that is for the auto racks, because they are. I do run scale-sized auto racks, which are the Lionel 89 foot. The MTH versions are not too scaled; they're too short. They make their stuff to run on 054, 043, or I mean 042. I mean, but these auto racks are true scale and are huge. So when it comes around that 072 curve, there is quite a bit of overhang. The next biggest change since 2019 is this area here. So I put up, I made these tunnel portals. I actually made these. I built them according to how Harry Henning told me to, and they came out very well. That is a Menards dual bridge, or dual track bridge. I was actually very happy how this bridge, how nice this bridge is. And I've had people ask me, is it high enough? But I just made a Lionel auto rack run underneath this bridge, and there's plenty of room. And I had people ask me, do you think a double stack intermodal car would make it under here? And right now I'm going to say absolutely. I think there's plenty of room. And it's a very nice bridge. A little bit on the expensive side, but well worth it. Also remember, this bridge is made from wood. It's not steel. It's not aluminum. The platform is metal, but the rest of it's wood. So you do have to handle it with care, and it is fragile. The next thing that I've done is I built this dealership, this Dodge dealership, called Hodges Dodge. Hodges Dodge was a 60s to 70s Dodge dealership. They were pretty famous in the world of NHRA drag racing. For those who are familiar with drag racing, they had a car called the Candy-Matic, or the Candy-Matic race team, and they were pretty famous for the amount of wins that they had in their class. That's new. Okay, for my future plans, because I know plenty of you are wondering what's the future plans of Conahey Rail. I want to take this shelf display back out, and I'm going to put it where that curtain area is, because that's where all my controllers are at. And then I'm going to build a control station where this is at. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, why are you switching the shelf with the controller station? Because once I put this bridge into place, if there's a derailment, I have to either open a bridge or step over the bridge to get to the controllers to reset it. The bridge idea happened after the design of where I put the controlling station at. But if you guys look back on my videos, when I was single mainline and I just had a loop around here, then it was pretty much easy to get there. But once I put dual mainline in, and when I run the outside loop, I close the bridge, and now it's a real pain to get there. So now I have to swap the control station with the shelf. So I got vacation time, so I'll probably do that update this year and build the control station here. So then it's easy to get to. The next future plan is to add 2 more switches, so I can change from main 1 to main 2 in either direction without having to back up. So I do want to add another couple switches and they'll go, of course, this way. So that's another part of my future plan. Also, for those who are wondering about guardrails reliability, first let me say, yes, raw switches are the better switches. They're the best switches out there that you can buy for O-gauge. But if you watched my freight car moves video, you can see that these work very reliably. The guardrails, these are guardrails O-100 switches, so they work very well. Another guardrail switch that works very well is the O72. Anything below that, I wouldn't buy because I actually have problems with. I tried the O54 guardrail switches and they just didn't work. Not for me anyway. But the guardrails O100 and O72 switches are very good, so I'd buy them again. As you can see, I still have this cornfield to finish. So I still have future plans to do that. I'm probably going to revamp my idea because, as you can see, I was drilling a hole and putting the corn stalk in there, and I was going to fill it in with dirt. However, it's getting very monotonous drilling out holes, and I don't feel like drilling all these holes out. So it was one of those. I thought it was going to be a good idea at first, but bad idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a thin layer of styrofoam in here, raise it up a bit, and then that way I can just poke the stalks into the styrofoam and be done with it. So I just got to get a sheet of styrofoam. And that'll make this project go a lot faster than what it has been going. I've also updated this intersection, which seemed to have drew some controversy when I first posted the pictures. People were saying that I had this signal on the wrong side of the road. It should have been over here. But other people were commenting that it is in the correct location if that inside main, or if the inside track was a siding and not a main. But if it's a main, then that signal belongs over here. If it's a siding, this inside track's a siding, then it's in the correct location. So that's what I got out of that post that I made with this picture. MTH came out with an updated sound for their crossings, which is more realistic to what you would hear. Also, do yourself a favor. This is a little tip. Put these on a switch. Trust me when I say this, because it's kind of cool when you say, yeah, at first. It's a cool idea. I'm going to put these crossings in with the lights and the sound. This is going to be so great. And after about the 10th time around the track, you're already like, what was I thinking? So I actually have my accessories on a switch, and when I'm down here by myself, I actually leave everything off. I just like having the sound of a train. So the only time I had the sounds and the lights on for everything is when I have guests over or if I'm shooting video. Believe it or not. So now that we covered the updates and my future plans, somebody had made a suggestion when I'm running videos. They had suggested creating backdrops for different parts of the scenes that I shoot video in. And I was already thinking of that, and I'll show you what I mean. This is one of the video scenes that I shoot. And then in the background you'll see there's a wood stove, there's a dehumidifier. So what I want to do is I want to build like a not a permanent wall, but like use plywood, put backdrop on there, and then build something where I can just stick the backdrop into and sort of let it hang in there. and that would cover this area with a scene and in my future videos, so you would not see that wood stove. Another scene I shoot in my videos, and once again I want to create a backdrop wall to put behind there so you're not seeing all that stuff in the video. So I do have plans for improving Conahey Rail videos in the future. Okay, as promised, we will go ahead and take our tour, because one of the fans said they liked my video, but it's easily to get lost in the as far as where the train's going in the video, and I'll show you why. So this is the main, what I call the main section, or my original section that I started with. But so the train's running in a rural area here, or suburban area actually, where there's houses, and then it goes through, it starts going through more areas where it's more industrialized and stuff. And as you can see, let me back up here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. I'll back up as far as I can. So the train comes through around this suburban area where there's houses, and then it starts getting more industrialized here with a bank and buildings and industry and an auto parts house, and then it starts coming through here where there's a greenhouse and there's more industry, warehousing and stuff. And of course that bridge will be down. But if you notice, there's two tunnels here. So that train, which you never see in any of my videos, actually goes through a wall. So once the train goes through the wall, the scene completely changes over to farmland and grain facilities and stuff like that. So that's probably why you guys are getting lost sometimes in the videos, because the scene drastically changes. You're going from, industry, then once it comes through the tunnel, now you're almost like in a different part of the city or a different part of town or the next town over, where you have, a post office, a nice house, and then it gets, where you got a yard, you have a grain facility, and then, you're getting into farmland, and then down there is a firehouse and a dealership. So, yeah, it does change quite a bit. So I can understand why you guys would get lost in the videos, because you never see that transition between the walls in my videos. So here you guys go. First time ever, transition from one to the other, and like I said, it changes drastically. So in my town, the farmers grow the corn, and the corn, once it's ready, it gets picked by their combines, then they truck it to a grain facility. And our grain facility is actually really owned by Purdue, by the way. And the trains do come in to their Purdue silos, and the trains will take the grain over to Purdue farms. While the train's away, the farmers continue to bring grain in, and then they will store it in the silos. One of the main things I like about my design for the grain yard is you'll notice that you can bring trains in from either side of the inside main. I could actually turn around an entire train in the opposite direction using this yard. So it's pretty neat how it came out. I actually did an aerial view, photograph of it, and then I also made up a design on papers and so you could see how I did it. But I actually had somebody who copied this, so that's kind of cool. So we'll sort of like do a quick video tour because, like I said, most of the stuff has remained the same since 2019, and as you'll see, I have added more Hollywood cars, uh, more information about them. I believe I've done them. I'm pretty sure I did a video about my Hollywood cars, so you can check that out on my Conahey Rail playlist. Like I mentioned before, there's at least 85 videos now based or from Conahey Rail starting in 2015, which, by the way, was just an L-shaped layout. You know, a little 4x8 layout in this corner, L-shaped, and I ran my 1987 Lionel Conrail Limited on it, and then I got into TMCC, then Legacy. Then after that, I started going to train shows, and I met some high rail club members and watched the high rail club layouts, and I really liked how they were set up and realistic and true and prototypical. So that's the way I went. Alright, so one of the fans asked for aerial views. So as promised, I will bring you the best I can these aerial views so you can see above how the trains run. Now you'll notice that the inside main will come around and go around a horseshoe. The inside main is 054 all the way around, and the outside main is 072, which is kind of tight for a high rail layout, but I just couldn't. I had a hard enough time fitting 072, let alone going 080 and then 072 on the inside, which will be impossible now that I've designed it this way with that horseshoe curve. So much like a railroad, a real railroad, you know, you're constrained to the you know, your design and the area you have to use. And we'll go over here and get some more aerial footage. Okay, this might be a better shot here. I actually closed the bridge so you can see it as it comes across, and it goes over to the next module and through the tunnel into the next room. So the train is heading the outside main train is heading this direction. The inside main is heading the opposite direction. So here's your aerial views. So you can get a better idea. And those two mains remain together, but yet independent until they get to this area. Then they split away from each other. Then we'll wrap around here. Where you see that white cylinder hopper next to the watchtower, that's a yard. Where you see that silver center flow hopper, that's also a yard. So the black tank cars is actually the inside main. So that's where the inside main's coming through in this section. Where you see the auto rack cars, that's the outside main coming through. So the layouts, the inside main where you see the tank cars come around and then sort of wrap around itself and then comes back this way. And there you go. Now you'll see the next aerial view. Alright, so this is your outside main, inside main. Here's where I can cross over. I'm going to put one more crossover here. Here's where you can cross over from the inside main over to the other side of the inside main. This track here, this track here, and this track here are those three tracks are sidings that go to the grain facility. The flat car is the inside main on the opposite side. And of course, there's your outside main. So I hope I'm not confusing anybody, but you can actually see and then the tracks go to another room yet, which you never see on video because it's actually my workshop, so it's not so pretty in there. So it's something that I don't put on video, that part of it. Maybe one day I'll redo it up, but probably not until another year or so before I even get to that point. Alright, how big is Conahey Rail Layout? At its widest point from here to that wall is 12 foot. From this corner, the long run, and it goes through into the next room, 35 foot long. So I got plenty of room to run long trains, such as the 89 foot auto rack train. Alright, as promised, I told you guys to wait to the end of the video because I'm sure you're wondering, is this guy a rivet counter or what? Because he said earlier he doesn't run anything other than scale stuff. Well, that is true on Conahey Rail, High Rail, O-Gauge layout. But Conahey Rail also owns a traditional layout. And this is where I run all of my semi-scale stuff. And on this layout, anything goes. So this is pretty much my traditional layout for Lionel. I have all my I have all my trains on here from when I was a kid, and I wanted a dedicated layout and a separate layout to run all the stuff that that's not to scale or not realistic or real or prototypical, just something to have fun. And we'll get you an aerial view of that as well. And yes, it does have an elevated figure 8. Last but not least, I don't know if you would want to call this a layout. I call it a display. This is my very first Lionel train set. My first train set ever, actually, that I got in 1976. The Rock Island line, I still have it. I keep it on a separate display. And I do put it around the Christmas tree. Still even to this day, I run it around the Christmas tree. And that's me playing with it. I believe I was like maybe 13, 12 back then, 14, I don't know. But that's me playing with it. And so yeah, it still runs, and I still use it around the tree. Before I leave, I will like to mention one other thing. People are still asking me and a little upset at my videos not being able to comment on them. The only thing I got to say is my original promise was to make my videos as made for kids when I can. and I'm keeping that promise. Unfortunately, the way the laws have changed with COPPA and YouTube and the SEC, anytime that you make a video as made for kids, now the comments automatically get disabled on YouTube. Any movie or video not made for kids will have the comments enabled. And I hope this answers most of your concerns. And thanks once again for joining me and being a Deckman Productions subscriber.